Welcome back! Merry Christmas, everybody! Oh my gosh, I hope you guys are having a fantastic time with your families. So today is going to be a follow-up to last week's video. Last week, you may recall that I actually drew this lovely little picture contained within this unfinished wooden frame. So today, as promised last week, I will be wood burning this thing to my heart's content. So sit back with your poinsettias and your sugar cookies and your stockings and enjoy. So to begin with, I'm going to start using my sharp curved shader. If you look really closely, you can actually see some of the smoke coming up. I've got this on a pretty high heat just because I really want to cut into that wood, and I really don't want to have to go over it again because the style that I'm going for with this is definitely a stark contrast type of style. I'm not going to be trying to do any kind of realistic shading, largely because this is meant to be a hyper stylized Pokemon frame. But the setup we've got going on is at the bottom, we have a girl and her Eevee standing in a field looking upward. On their sides, two giant trees, and then some decorative rare candies and Pokeballs halfway up the frame. At the top, we have an Articuno, because my little sister, I don't know if that's her favorite legendary bird Pokemon, but I do know that that's the one that she showed me when she was super excited, so it stuck out in my mind. And yes, I'm aware that Articuno is not actually that big, canonically. I gotta say, I really wish that I had gotten a bigger frame for this because I feel like the detail that I could have gone into with my illustration would have been pretty awesome. But like I said, this picture is a 4x6 inch image, which makes the frame barely bigger than that, and you can also see how thin the frame is. I will get into shading, but in the same way that I want to always line my illustrations on paper before I get into coloring and shading and such, I'm doing the same thing here, lining everything before I actually go in with a different type of pen. Speaking of switching pens, that'll occur in 3, 2, 1, ball pen. By the way, I do apologize for the blurriness here. I zoomed my camera in as much as I possibly could, but then I had to go into my editing program later on and actually make it zoom in even more. Obviously, that's not the best thing for quality, but this is such a small frame and such a small project that otherwise you would wind up looking at it and having about 95% of the screen space being inactive. So hopefully at this level, you can actually see that it's a girl with an Eevee on her shoulder/arm, and they're looking up in awe at this magnificent creature. Time to get to work on these rare candies now, and also the Pokeballs. My curved shader/pen is definitely not what I would ever want to use for something that has like round or organic edges, which is why I'm using my ball pen in order to line, even though I'm not necessarily doing any shading yet. I will be using the ball pen for shading, however, because I really like the result. It's basically an extra small bowl shader pen. And on something like this, in my opinion at least, it would probably be prudent of me to avoid using a full-size spoon shader pen, because it is just a small work surface. Moving on to the Pokeballs now, I lowered the heat a little bit because I did not want my ball pen getting stuck in the burnt divots that this creates. But alas, on that last little tiny one, because of how small of a curve that is, it got stuck anyway, and so it's not even. Oh. Oh man, it was so weird. I started this channel being like, alright, this is gonna be my serious channel, I'm gonna be like cool in it, but unfortunately the real me is just fighting its way out every single time, and it's getting worse and worse, and I'm just making more and more voices. Sorry guys. Finishing up the remnants of the line work here, right now specifically working on Articuno's face, eyes, and beak. Okay, so that's all the lines, but now I get to start on the fun part, which is not actually very fun when it's all patience and I have none. Shading. So we'll begin with this wing, and then I'm going to do the other wing, and then I'll move on to everything else, but I am definitely going to speed this up because just the wings took almost 20 minutes. So this was a little iffy right off the bat because I was trying to make sure that I wasn't burning too deeply, but I still wanted a decent light to dark gradient. I think the entire thing came out pretty well in the long run, but one wing was definitely not symmetrical with the other, so oh well. So as much as I adore my well-lit workspace and everything, I gotta say, the way that the light reflects off of the burnt wood is not very conducive to showing you what I'm doing. Hoorah! Pokeballs! Awesome! So now I don't have to be patient anymore! Yay! No, but seriously, I don't have to be patient anymore for that part. I do still have to be very patient when I'm shading out the Pokeballs themselves, but the lining? Opening? Band? The black part of the Pokeball is something I don't have to be patient about, so I'm glad. Alright guys, I'm gonna work my way through this real quick, and I will be right back. Ooh, hello. I hope you're not dizzy or anything from all of the time-lapse and the spinny spins of my frame, but I'm here to tell you what I'm doing right now. Currently, I'm outlining this so that it has a little bit more of an oomph to it. I want it to pop a little bit more, especially because I'm going to wind up, like I said, putting some wood stain on the background. So if I can put a nice thick outline just on the outer edges of everything in this scene, it's really gonna pop. Speaking of popping, just like that. By the way, that is totally the sound that a tin can makes when you pop it open, absolutely, and is in no way for comedic effect. It's wood staining time! I am so excited. Okay, so I have some Q-tips here, which I'm using to very, very, very carefully apply this wood stain. By the way, PSA, doctors say that you shouldn't be sticking Q-tips in your ears, people. Last video, I was a gardener, and this time I'm a doctor, so, yeah. But you should probably actually ask your doctor before you stop cleaning your ears with Q-tips, but I don't think you're supposed to do that. Anyway, you can already see how this is helping this image to pop. What's really annoying about this process, though, is that Q-tips unravel really quickly when dipped in something I assume they're probably never supposed to be dipped in, wood stain. So I probably go through 4 or 5 Q-tips just for this one image. I did some other frames for my parents, but I'm not sharing that on here because those are fairly personal. And besides, this is more fun anyway, right? You guys don't need to know about my life. I'm just kidding. If you guys want me to do like a draw my life or something someday, maybe I'll do that, but I am closing in on the finish line for this particular project. I just need to put some stain on these sides, and then I will be done. One side, 2 side, red side, blue side. Okay, fourth side. All right, we're done. Woohoo! Okay, that's one Christmas gift done. Merry Christmas, everybody. I legitimately hope that everyone has a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and also a very Happy New Year, because I will not see you next week. I am going to take off just next week to spend with friends and family and kind of chill a little bit, but I will be back on January 8th, 2019. So until then, feel free to keep up with me on my Instagram account. My Etsy is open for orders, or like my page on Facebook, and I will keep everyone updated on those 3 places when I post new videos or new art. Thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to subscribe if you like my content, hit that notification bell, and I would love to have a conversation with you guys, so if you want to comment, then feel free. I do actually respond to every single comment, at least right now. A like would be much appreciated. And besides that, till next time, everybody, see you next year.